Hello wonderful people and welcome back. This video is titled Army Wife Who Demanded to Be Saluted Now Can't Go Anywhere Without Being Stopped. And here goes. The situation was becoming tense. As she sat at the wheel, they stood before her with frozen salutes, wearing expressions of stone. Their hands never moved as they stood there. Her surprise at their actions had turned into raging discomfort now. Regret written all over her face. It was too late now. At 52 years old, Margaret Willis was accustomed to the perks of being a military wife. No ordinary spouse, as the wife of a commissioned officer, her place in his world commanded even more respect. Margaret always sought to carry herself with the grace and dignity of an officer's wife. Unfortunately for her, she didn't always know where this line ended. Being a commissioned officer had certain advantages. One such benefit was enjoying priority for their family members to live on base. As a non-commissioned member, Corporal Thomas West made up for this with discipline and ambition, but meeting Margaret Willis showed just how far he was willing to go to execute orders. Life at the Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson, J-Bear, situated in Anchorage, was intense. With frigid winters that lasted up to 6 months, it was not an environment where showing weakness went down well. Being posted on gate duty in freezing temperatures came with added responsibilities. This assignment brought new obstacles for Corporal West when he first encountered Margaret Willis. The soldiers of J-Bear were a band of brothers and sisters bound by service. Margaret Willis never thought of herself as an outsider. Married to a distinguished colonel, she demanded respect. Before we continue, if you like this video, please like, comment, or subscribe. We'd greatly appreciate it. Now back to the video. After all, she had been bound to the Army while most of her husband's subordinates were still in diapers. Corporal West thought differently, though. His respect had to be earned. Having first been posted on gate duty in the winter of 2019, Corporal West stood sentinel with pride and discipline. 6 foot tall and built like a tank, West was an imposing figure. However, when Margaret pulled up to the gate on his first day, he was left bewildered by her attitude and demands. Noticing the officer sticker on her pretentious SUV, West waved Margaret through, figuring that she was an officer's family member. The harsh winter was biting that day, and West had been at the gate all morning, in no mood for antics. Instead of driving through, Margaret stopped, let down her window, and fixed West with a murderous expression. Dressed in black, with dark glasses, and an entitled tone, Margaret demanded to know why she wasn't being saluted as an officer's wife. West explained that the officer sticker represented one's rank, not their car. Without an officer there, he could not salute. Margaret's face livid now. She headed straight to the administration offices with clear intent. Sure enough, the next day, West and his unit were called in by the brass and told it was now mandatory to salute cars with an officer's sticker, whether the officer was present or not. Humiliated by this injustice, West vowed to get even with Margaret. Knowing the risks, he didn't care. This was a matter of honor now. Calling an unofficial meeting with his unit, West devised a plan to show Margaret why ranks meant so much to them. It started with minor disruptions, men routinely leaving their posts and milling around the parking lots, saluting for seemingly random reasons. Now that they had everyone's attention, it was time to turn their focus to Margaret herself. As Margaret got into her car the following week, she found herself suddenly surrounded by West and his men. The men all wore icy expressions on their faces and refused to move an inch. With his crew cut, hardened jawline, and intense expression, West looked the most menacing. Margaret's entitlement soon abandoned her, an expression of fear as she jumped out and ran off towards the barracks. Returning with an officer who demanded answers. They explained, discipline code stated an officer's salute must be returned before being dropped. They were, therefore, duty-bound to wait for the car sticker to salute them back before they could leave. The look on Margaret Willis's face as the officer at her side struggled to suppress a grin at the men's explanation was priceless. They felt that their interpretation of the rules was logical. Margaret obviously did not. Once again, she marched off towards the administration office, only this time she returned with her husband. As Colonel Willis approached the lot, his expression was imposing. In full regalia, the men immediately saluted him and he duly returned it, a little stiffly. Margaret wore a look of bemusement as her husband demanded answers. Explaining again, Colonel Willis turned to his wife after. The look on his face wiped the smug grin off her face. The entire saga caused quite a stir around the base. Now, the top brass saw sense and sided with Corporal West and his unit. Margaret Willis still resided on the base with her husband. Only these days, she could be spotted driving her own car, a little hatchback as humble as her attitude now. That's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. As always, if you like this video, please like, comment, or subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video.